All right, so simplifying each expression here, um, basically they just want us to kind of write everything out. Um, there is no solving, so there's no equal sign, but we are going to have to just kind of simplify it as much as possible. Going too fast. So we're going to have to distribute, okay? So first problem here, we're just going to be distributing. The 3 goes there, and it goes there, okay? This -2, see how it says times right here? There's a multiplication sign. So you can kind of just write it like that if you want, so you can backward distribute. So 3 times 2r, that's 6r, and 3 times 5, that's 15. And then I'm going to put plus. Now, -2 times 2r, that's a -4r. And -2 times 5, that's -10. I put a parenthesis around it because I know I was multiplying by a negative, so it's going to change stuff. So this becomes 6r plus 15 minus 4r minus 10. So it's 6r minus 4r is 2r, and 15 minus 10 is 5. So your answer, A. We're going back to the very beginning of the school year, okay? So if some of this stuff seems kind of easy, it's probably because it is, okay? And it's usually in order, the way we do our review sheets. So it's going to start from the very beginning and move on to the harder stuff. That's what I'm telling you guys. It's beneficial for you guys to start working on this on your own so you can advance further than I do in class and you can get to those last sections, okay? I may not get to number 72, but you might say, oh my gosh, that's the hardest one though. Well, yeah, ask me to do it then, okay? If not, I'm going in order, okay? So you want me to do the hard work? Tell me to do the hard work, okay? But if not, I'm gonna do the easy work. I'm going to order, right? Yeah, feel free to ask and we'll get to it. But don't ask me right now because I at least want you to have one day of trying, okay? Tomorrow, make me go anywhere you want. Or unless you see something right now that you would like to see, but not too far in the future, I guess, in the problems. Any questions on this one? Hopefully nothing major. Number 2, solve each equation. Oh, by the way, Omar asked, do I have to take notes? You can write all over this if you want. Okay, this is yours to keep. All right. And if I were you, anything that doesn't make sense to you that you've learned again, make a big mark on it so that you can put that on your little cheat sheet, your note sheet, right? Any formulas you see me using, highlight them so you know this was a formula he used. This one has to be important, right? So, make notes on your actual practice sheet. So here we go. For number 2, we have -24 equal to 2r minus 4 plus 8r. These are like terms. I can add them together. So that's -24 equals 2r plus 8r, that's 10r, minus 4. If I add 4 to the left side, okay, I'm going to move this -4 that way. I'm going to add it. That gives me -20 equal to 10r. And then I'll divide by 10. So r is equal to -2. That's D. You might notice I'm not showing every step. Like I said, semester 2, I'm going to stop doing that. Okay, I'm not going to show you every step, but I'll show you the crucial steps. Okay, the ones that are important for you to understand the next ones. All right, but it'll give us a little bit more time when we do work. That way all your problems don't look so long when you're taking notes. So we just added 4, we divided by 10, and there you go. Question 3. 3p plus 5 times 2p minus 1 is equal to 60. So distribute, right? We're going to distribute here. So I get 3p plus 10p minus 5 is equal to 60. 3p plus 10p is 13p minus 5 is equal to 60. If I add 5 to both sides, okay, so I'm going to move that 5 over. 13p equals to 65. And if I divide both sides by 13, P is 5. By the way, if for some reason you're having trouble solving these, what's an alternative way of finding your answer? Say it louder. All right, what are you saying? Oh, Google. No. What I mean is during the test. But yeah, you could Google it for sure. Yeah, you guys can always say like, well, I don't know how to solve this, so let me plug in a -2 and see if that works, right? And if on this side it comes out to 60 and that says 60, then you know that's the right answer, right? Googling for sure will work, but not during the test. I should have been more specific. But yeah, I mean, test it, right? If you have multiple choice options for answers, that means that you have options to test, right? If you don't know how to solve it, you can always plug stuff in. All right. Question number 4. Anybody remember what makes question number 4 a little bit tougher? Like, why is it that an absolute value makes a difference here? I need 2 answers, right? Now, you only get 2 answers if it's not equal to 0. This one is, so there's probably going to only be one answer. I'm assuming it's C, okay? Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see. Because what you're supposed to do is write your answer for x plus 5 and set it equal to positive 0, and then 4x plus 5 and set that one equal to negative 0. But that's the same thing. So I don't have to solve both equations, I just got to solve one, right? Because this equation right here and this equation right here, they're identical. So I don't have to do both, I just need to solve one of them. So let me solve the one on the right side since I already started moving it. If I subtract 5, 4x is negative 5. And if I divide by 4, x is negative 5/4. So, oh, I'm sorry. I just realized why it's not coming out. What did I do wrong? I copied the problem wrong. It should be 4x minus 5, not plus 5. My bad. It should be a positive 5. So there you go. 5/4. But notice, I knew the answer was C without even doing the work, because like I told you, if it's set equal to 0, if your absolute value is equal to 0, that's the only time you ever get one answer. Every other time you'll get 2. Well, let me rephrase that. Most of the time you're going to get 2. If the absolute value is equal to a negative number, that's no solution. Okay, don't forget that. So if this was, let's say, like a -8, then you write no solution. Because absolute values can't be negative, right? So no solution if it's a negative number. If it's a 0, you get 1. If it's any other positive number, you get 2. So I didn't even have to do any work for this one. I could have just picked C right away. Now, if they would have had 2 options with one answer, then I'd have to do it. Are we okay with that one? All right. So number 5, solve each inequality and graph its domain. Okay. Graph its solution. So I'm going to have to solve, and then I'm going to have to figure out the graph. Okay. So let me first distribute. There's negative 32r minus 24 plus 6r less than 184. I'll combine my r values. So that's negative 32r plus 6r. That's negative 26r minus 24 less than 184. I'll add 24 to both sides. Just going to show it here. So negative 26r, that's 208. Is that right? 10, 208, yeah. So now we're going to divide, okay? But I'm dividing both sides by a negative. So R, bless you, is greater than, I don't know, how many times does 26 go into 208? You'd have a calculator. Does anybody know? You said -8? Okay, thank you. So there we go. So then I'm going to look for this answer right here. It's D. So there's your answer. Questions on that one? You're just doing inequality, so you're going to have to graph. You don't necessarily have to graph it because they already did it for you. You just got to be able to find the right answer and just, I guess, make sure that the graph makes sense. Make sure that it wasn't like pointing this way or anything like that. So, all right. Number 6. So solve each compound inequality and its solution. Now notice it says and. Okay? Usually and collide towards each other, right? So there's a good chance this is your answer. There's a chance it could be D as well, but good chance that it's A. If it's or, they usually go in opposite directions. But let's see. Let's see what happens. So x minus 4 less than 2 and -9 plus x greater than or equal to -17. So if I add 4 to both sides here, I get x less than 6. So far this is an option, and this part right there is an option. Now let's solve the other one. I'll add 9 to both sides. So x is greater than or equal to -8. Well, this one doesn't have a -8, so it can't be that one. None of these. So it has to be A. Again, just knowing that and collides gave me a big hint that it's probably going to be A. Right? This is where it's helpful that you know like the little nuances of the problem. So I like, oh, and, or is opposite, and goes toward, right? Because if I didn't know how to do this, I would have guessed A, and I would have guessed right. Okay? But I mean, I did know how to do it, but if I didn't, A would have been a good guess, A would have been correct. Okay? So remember, you guys can write that in your notes, and go towards each other, right? Or away from each other. But that's all in our notes, by the way. You can just go back to Google Classroom and start looking through notes, and that's all in our notes from all this stuff. Questions on this one? All right, another absolute value problem. This time it's an inequality. It's not equal to 0. That means it doesn't just have one answer. So let me write it out. N over 10 is greater than 3. N over 10, remember you always switch and switch, right? You switch the number, you switch the symbol. So for number 7, I'll multiply by 10. I get n is greater than 10. Okay. I'm sorry, what am I saying? 10. 30. And then the other one, I'll multiply by 10, so I get n is less than -30. So it's from -30 and 30. These are the only ones that have n greater than 30 and less than -30. So it has to be that one. And by the way, I know this is an OR problem. My only options could have been B and D. How did I know from numbers from the original problem that it was going to be an OR problem?
Because the arrow's pointing away.
Yeah, it points away, right? Remember I told you those little nuances that I taught you guys, little hints? That right there means OR. Towards it means and. Away is OR. That's for absolute values. Okay? So all that stuff right there is just little hints. Like I said, if I didn't know how to do this problem, but I at least remembered that, then I had to guess between B and D. Okay? But then if I had to guess between B and D, I would look at the numbers and say, well, there's a 3, there's a 10, maybe it's 30, right, if I multiply. So I probably would have guessed B. Okay? So again, just pay attention to the problem. See if there's any hints you can get from it.
Or you just look, there's no or equal sign on, that one has a closed one, that one's open. You can tell by the.
Oh, yeah, the symbols. Yeah, good catch. So notice it's a greater than only. So your circle should be open, not closed, right? So even if I did try to decide between B and D, both circles are closed up, right? Which means it should have been greater than or equal to, right? So there's another little hint. So yeah, basically you could figure out it's B without ever doing anything here, just by knowing it's an OR and open circles. Yeah, good catch. I didn't even catch that. That makes sense? Like, just make those little notes right now, like, right? Like, note pointing away, or pointing to, and, right? Greater than, open circle, less than or equal to, closed circle, right? All that stuff, you guys should just kind of be marking down, because those are things you want to put in your notes if you need it. Any questions on 7? All right. Same problem, okay? Same problem. Chances are it's probably what? If you had to guess.
C.
Probably C. Right? Because it is an OR problem. It looks like it at least. And it's greater than, so that means circle's got to be open. So chances are it's C. Let's make sure, but I think it might be C. All right, so we're going to multiply by 10 first, okay, just to get that. Why is it doing that? Hold on. There we go. We're going to multiply by 10 to get that 10 to the other side. So I'll move this that way. I get absolute value of k plus 4 greater than 10, which means k plus 4 is greater than 10. K plus 4 is less than negative 10. Okay? So if I subtract 4, I get k is greater than 6. And if I subtract 4 again, I get k is less than negative 14. So what happened here? Oh my gosh, what am I doing this again? Sorry, my brain is not functioning right now. That's a 40. 4 times 10. This should be a 40. I have no idea why. That's the second time I did 3 times 10, I put 10. 4 times 10, I put 10. My brain is having issues with multiplying by 10s. So this will be 36, and this will be, it should be a negative, right? So a negative 44. So there we go. So answer, original guess was right. Sorry about that. I don't know why I'm multiplying my 10s off. So. Again, if you know enough about the problem, sometimes you don't even have to do it. You can just figure it out, right? Just by looking at your answers. All right, figure out the slope of the line. So whenever you're given 2 points and they want a slope, all you have to do is count. So I'm going to go rise 4 times and run 4 times. So my slope of rise over run is 4 over 4, so it's 1. Remember, if you go down from left to right, that's negative, right? If you go up, it's positive. Are we okay with that one? All right, find the slope of the line through each pair of points. So I'm going to use this formula. Since we have 2 points, I'm going to use that formula. So this will be my x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 is negative 14 minus y1 is negative 14 divided by x2, that's 20, minus x1, which is negative 1. Negative 14 minus a negative 14, that's 0, over 21, which is 0, so that's D. If you're wondering what would make it undefined, that's if you're dividing by 0. Okay, so if it was like 21 over 0, that's undefined. Are we okay with that one? And I'm kind of moving a little quickly, but I'm assuming you guys aren't going to be struggling with these. I mean, obviously, I could be wrong, but because this is from a long time ago, this is usually mostly just review. So again, because they want me to find a slope given 2 points, I'm using the slope formula. This is x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 is negative 5 minus y1, which is negative 16 over x2 is negative 14 minus negative 6. So negative 5, that's plus 16. That's 11. Negative 14 plus 6 is negative 8. So a negative 11/8. So that's C. Again, if you don't remember that formula, write it down, right? Highlight it so you know, hey, pay attention. I need this. So mark your stuff up. What do we get here? Give me a second. Don't write this down. That's a 22, 23, 4. So I need about 14 to 15 problems a day if I'm going to finish everything. I don't know if we can, but at least I know. 15 would be over, but it's okay. This one says write the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line. Slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. In other words, solve for y. Okay? So in order for me to solve for y, let me get this x and I'm going to throw it over to the other side by subtracting it. So this becomes negative 6y is equal to negative x plus 18. All right, and then I'm going to divide everything by negative 6. So everything gets divided by negative 6. So y is equal to 1/6 x minus 3. So that would be A. Questions on this one? Next one should be the same thing. Just solving for y. So I'm going to get this 3x and I'm going to throw it to the other side. It's positive 3x right now, so it's going to become a negative 3x. So 4y equals negative 3x minus 24. Now divide everything by 4. So y is equal to negative 3/4 x minus 6. That's C. Try doing 2 more if we can. Okay. That way at least day 1 we covered exactly what we needed to. Try to get to the end. After that, based on what you guys asked me to do, who knows? And by that, I don't mean everybody be quiet, don't say anything, right? I'm saying, ask questions that are important to you, right? Because you might be saying like I know how to do the other problems that you gave me. I can do those like this. Wait, did I go too far? Like this one. I didn't need help to find slope on that. That's ridiculous. I don't need it. Well, then stop me from doing these and tell me exactly what you need tomorrow, okay? Maybe do the next 15 problems on your own. Maybe that can be your homework for tonight, right? Get to 30. and then ask me anything from there, or keep going, right? Maybe you want to start working backwards. Start with the hard stuff, right? Do whatever you want, whatever is good for you. All right, so here we go. Give me a second. It's just the file is so large that it takes a while to show it. So, sketch this graph. Now, according to this graph, what's my slope, or this equation? 2 over 1. And what's my y-intercept? -4. Now, I want you guys to know, since my slope is positive, that means the line should be going uphill, right? You guys remember that little tiny detail, right? Positive slopes go up, negative slopes go down. Okay? So, is A representative of a slope of 2 over 1? No, it's not. This one's going down. Is B representative of a slope that's positive? Yeah, okay, so we'll leave it. What about C? Yeah, it is. It's going uphill, right? What about D? No, that's going downhill, so it can't be that. So now I have two options, B or C. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. B or C. Now remember, my slope was 2 over 1. My y-intercept was a -4 or +4? -4, okay. Which one of those makes sense? B, right? Because notice it's crossing at -4. This one's crossing at -2. That's not right. Okay? All right, and next one, y equals 3/5 x plus 1. I have no idea why my brother's contacting me right now. He should be teaching math. I know it can't be a math emergency. All right, 3/5 x plus 1. So my slope, 3/5. My intercept, 1. So again, positive slope. So which ones are not possible answers? C and D, they're both going down, right? So can't be those. All right? So now it's either one of these two. How do I know which one to pick? Yeah, which one's at the y-intercept of 1? So if I look, this one is at -1. This one's at +1. So it has to be A. Notice I didn't even care about the fact that the slope is 3 over 5. I didn't count 3 up, 5 over. All I cared about was, is it going uphill or downhill, right, based on my slope. After that, it was all about my y-intercept. Okay? So, there we go. 15 problems. This is what I'm required to do with you guys today without doing too much. Because if I do too much, then I do everything for you. Okay? And that's not the name of the game. All right? It's for you guys to do it. So, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to stop the video right now. And then we'll talk about what you guys need to do.